opinions, different perspectives, issues, problems, and their solutions on various fields, including art and culture, healthcare, environment, education, and many more. We invite experts to share their insights on various fields. Along with Vishwa Talks, Vishwa has declared Hyderabad, Swachh Hyderabad, a zero waste city by 2027. This is an audacious declaration that Vishwa has made, and we need all your blessings to make this happen. Vishwa also offers computer trainings, Annadanam, and events towards creating awareness among students. Each webinar is an interactive session with a deeper understanding for the topic at hand. If you miss any part of the session, and if you would like to go through the previous sessions, please visit our website or Vishwa Talks YouTube channel for a full library of the past Vishwa Talks on very interesting topics. In today's Vishwa Talks, we are honored to introduce our keynote speaker, Beena Rao. She is the co-founder of and creative head of Creative Bee, a social business in Hyderabad that champions social fashion and textiles. She's been, what, 40 or 50 years, Beena? One of the very few couples I have seen who have contributed to our nation in a big way. Through Creative Bee, she has worked very closely with underprivileged weavers and artisans across India, helping them build their livelihoods. While our textiles have come from thousands of years, in this next decade, we might not see many of them. It's people like Ms. Beena who've been striving a lifetime to protect this community. Ms. Beena Rao is a pioneer in sustainable fashion and textiles, recognized internationally for her work. She has served on advisory committees for Handloom under the Government of India and a respected member of the Governing Council at the National Institute of Design. In fact, if I'm not wrong, you've brought it to Hyderabad also.
Yes, and then it went to Vijayawada now.
Yeah. Her contributions extend globally as a senior consultant to the United Nations East Africa Program and as a team leader for UNDP's Disha initiative, impacting 2,000 women weavers in Telangana. As a true advocate for sustainability and innovation in textiles, she continues to inspire and transform the industry. I want to share a little personal thing. One day, an IAS officer had reached out to them and said, in Thailand or Malaysia, is it Thailand?
Yes.
That they do baskets very beautifully. Why don't we have that because all our villages have those weeds, we consider weeds, and we spend so much money on clearing that. And they went there and they said, can you come to India and teach us? And then they said, hey, here is the couple, Miss Beena Rao and her husband, Mr. Keshav. They are the ones who've actually come and taught us. And today we Indians go to Thailand for holidays and we buy that stuff and come back to India, while it has been taught by people here who have actually gone there. This is the kind of service that this couple has been given to our nation. With this, let's dive into our discussion. I would like to inform the audience that our speaker will be taking questions from you after our main talk. So please leave your questions in the chat box or use raise and hand tool, and we will allow you to ask your question in person. I request everyone to turn on your webcam for interactive activities. So without further ado, let us welcome Ms. Beena Rao to share her insights and experiences with us.
Thank you, Pani. And just give me a moment. So first and foremost, Good morning, everyone. Saturday morning, I can understand how dear this Saturday morning is for people who have been busy the whole week. Thank you for taking out the time. And if you are missing it, then you can view it later. As Mrs. Vani has said, I'm really thankful to Mrs. Vani and the entire Vishwa team for inviting me for the second Vishwa talk. And if I remember the first Vishwa talk, the title was so involving, how weavers have woven our cultural identity. So Vishwa team and Mrs. Vani are very efficient and they find unique titles so that brainstorming starts, in the viewers as well as the speaker also get, endless thoughts that a speaker would like to share. And so you are great at selecting titles, Miss Vani and team. Um, and now I'm here 2 years, I think almost 2 years down the line. Today, the cultural identity I had spoken about in my first talk has come to a crossroad. The advocates of handloom are looking for answers. Today's topic seems to me like a continuation to my first Vishwa talk, Mrs. Vani. Am I right? Um, and the URL for the first talk will be on the last slide for those who want to view it later on YouTube, or you can go to Vishwa website also and see it. Yeah. Tech team, can I go to the next slide? It's not helping me to, yeah. So how to protect the handloom is our today's topic. And I think it is every day's concern for all of us connected to handloom in some way or the other. There is not even a day which goes without we thinking about it. Someone calling up and say, hey, I went to so-and-so place and there are no genuine handlooms available. We have walked many miles on this path and we saw that handloom clothing was becoming a growing trend. Then, when I was a young designer, graduated master's degree from fine arts, and later the love for weaves and textures made me do NID. So I studied textile design. I married to Rao from Hyderabad, from a Telugu person. I'm from Gujarat, and I have so much enthusiasm in me. I had working with weavers, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. That time it was a united state, like a real canvas of ready canvas for me to work. And that is the beginning of the handloom trend re-emerging. Post-independence, there was a slowing down because, Powerloom and, industries had come in, mill-made yarn had come in. There was a slowing down, but then in my time, particularly when NID was established and churning out designers who are focusing more on handloom, all those designers, my contemporaries, I'm talking about, say, 35 years ago, 40 years ago, uh, had handloom as a passion. And even the trend was quite supportive. There was a resurgence, a kind of people started within India, people started considering handloom as a fashion. So we have spent our entire youth working with and around handloom weavers of our country. We saw the light of resurgence, particularly during 1980s and 90s. And sadly, past 2.5 decades, the invasion of Powerloom has swept in so fast. We saw it coming and we every day talked about it. But here we are helplessly staring at it and thinking, what can we do? As a design professional, I have, founded a platform called Creative Bee. It's a social and sustainable MSME business. We have our entire production value chain under our umbrella, which took over 10 years to create. All of you who are into the production and supply chain here, or who listen to my talk will know how difficult it is to connect one value chain to another, like yarn, dyeing, weaving, designs, then making final finished garments. So this was a phase when, we just brick by brick, uh, made a structure at Creativity such a way that we, as a designer, can make the best hand woven product. So best quality in hand weave and aesthetic natural dye, authentic natural dyes, and creating contemporary designs. Um, and yet adhering to the traditional weaves. This is what Creative Bee is known today and for retail, export, and B2B. So you can see the contemporary look of Indian handloom and particularly Telangana. Our focus, our base is Telangana and Andhra. And we have spent over 2.5 decades empowering smaller weaver groups by training them into achieving quality. We always paid higher wages. The sustainable fashion, what we talk about today, was pioneered, say, 2.5 decades ago by Creative Bee, thinking that unless you nourish a plant, sweet fruits can't be harvested. This was the concept, and it has worked. Weavers who have started work with us 2.5 years ago, decades ago, they are still with us, and they have grown. Their children have gone to colleges and schools and come back to help their families in most cases. So next slide, there is, can tech team support, give the control to me, please?
Yeah, you can control it, ma'am. Just click on the down arrow.
Yeah, but it's not going. So
Or shall I share the screen?
I don't know why this is not moving. Yeah, now we have moved. Sorry for this glitch. Um, Also, Keshav Rao, my husband, he's an artist. Both of us, our basic training is in art. He is very passionate about crafts as well, not only textiles and handloom, but he's very more passionate about handicraft. He thinks that as much agriculture is produced in India, that much handmade crafts are produced. Every village has something or the other craft happening. Farmers have, achieved sort of a collectivized channel of marketing their produce. But in handicraft, we still are at a very primary stage. 20 years ago, we felt that while traveling to Thailand and on UN projects, we saw that Southeast Asian countries have equipments where raw material has been can be prepared equally. See, our creative artisan hands need not sit and chop the wood or melt the metal or slit the fiber. There has to be a way to prepare all the raw material in a semi-mechanized machine with machine. That was one story. But doing craft is always by hand. In handloom, we have come to a stage when we want to do everything by machine. Anyway, we talk about that later. So this Creative Bee Foundation, that is a non-profit side of Creative Bee, which has purely remained a facility where we have equipments. NGOs can send their groups for training. Government can give send groups. International groups can come, and it is facilitated by Creative Bee, which is a for-profit arm from the knowledge department as a skill training program. And so we have Creative Bee, one as a business, which is in fashion, export, retail. Creative Bee Foundation has one big building at Creative Bee Dye Farm. Creative Bee Dye Farm is also same place as foundation, which is at Ghatkesar. And that has been also made by my husband, Keshav Rao. He has done a lot of R&D, almost about a decades of R&D to come to a quality natural dye production, which can be machine washable and which can be meeting the international trends, and bigger orders can be done. So if you see in the picture here, we have all the ingredients in raw form at farm. And what we grow at farm is only for our R&D because now the work has grown so much that we need to source these ingredients in tons from Trifed or from, Girijan cooperatives and wherever this is collected. And it has been hand pulverized. So finishing also is done by hand. 100% hand finish is what Creative Bee gives to its international buyers. Next slide, please. Um, Sorry, Akhilesh, can you move on to the next slide, please?
You have to click on your screen.
Yeah. You
Same.
Who's presenting the slides? Akhilesh, you are presenting or ma'am is
Meena,
presenting?
ma'am is presenting. Some glitch is there, I guess.
do
You are
you
not able to present?
I
due
can.
to slow
Please
internet?
present.
I think due to slow internet.
Sure, I will
Yeah.
present, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay. We are on a third slide, I think. Please go ahead. Sorry, audience. The internet in this area, I'm on road number 10, Banjara Hills, is a bit slow. And yeah. So we spoke about Creative Bee Foundation, the Creative Bee, the dye farm, and Creative Bee, the main business arm. But yet another vertical of our 3 decades of professional work is consultation and training projects, which we do in collaboration with the governments, NGOs, UN, and many private companies and startup brands. I love creating a brand for, say, IT professionals or anyone who is passionate about handloom and fashion. So in 6 months' time at Creative Bee, we would develop, as per their brief, the entire package of what they want, like man's shirt. There is a new brand which we have developed called Susego, SUSEGO Life, Susego Life. They launched 8 months ago. They are thriving now. It's all their passion for handloom and our passion and design abilities have created the brand. Like every 6 months, we will have 2 or 3 such startup brands that we create. We work with bigger companies who need design support, and as a consultant for larger UN project, we go as a senior consultants. We also take up projects on Creative Bee where long-term training and sending looms and all that is required. So these projects are taking me to different states. My own work, which is at Creative Bee, as I explained, is all under one roof. I mean, nearly under one roof and 2 states. But the consulting projects take me from the beginning. From day one, I have been traveling across the country through my consulting projects. And while I'm setting up a new showroom, like there is those who are in Hyderabad, they know that Kalanjali showroom was made by me for Inadu Group. And as a young designer, very enthusiastically, I have traveled the whole country and lined up the connections and supply source to Kalanjali. Also Fab India in earlier years, I used to be, connected. But now more and more specialized projects come our way. And my recent visits have been an eye-opener for me in terms of how fast the damage of handloom sector is happening and how fast we need to act on what has still remained nascent, still live. So I'm afraid at the rate that handloom weavers and the way the whole handloom industry is looking at Powerloom's threat. I think if we don't act now, we will not be able to say that weavers are our cultural identity. Maybe we will be able to say weavers were our cultural identity. That is the time now, knocking at our door. Next, please. And interestingly, last month, I was invited by the Ministry of Textiles to be the member of final selection committee for National Handloom Award and Sant Kabir Awards 2023. I had one full day looking at priceless entries which have come from across the country. I felt really happy to see that such high level of skill heritage still surviving. I mean, each entry was worth a million. That is what, if you ask me. And the way display was organized, the way everything was put together, I mean, I felt really proud that our country is still holding on to such a large chunk of traditional heritage which has been passed on from centuries. And my happiness did not even last for a day. As I went to Bhagalpur from Delhi, I had already traveled from Hyderabad to Delhi and I had assignment in Bhagalpur. I realized that the past 2 decades, the handloom production has been really taken over by Powerloom at Bhagalpur. There is so much that the most handloom clusters, which used to thrive, say, about 20 years ago, I while I'm setting up Kalanjali, I have traveled across the country, as I said, and the kind of Bhagalpur handloom that we knew is almost taking a back seat now. A lot of power loom, rapier looms, and equipments to support those looms. And next slides, you will see how the whole city has almost industrial look now. Next, please. So before we go to Bhagalpur and production, I think I would like to first start with our own state, Telangana. I really wish someone had asked the questions to decision makers that we are asking ourselves today when ikat, which is woven on power loom, was accepted in handloom category with an argument that it is hand tied and hand dyed. The question which we are raising now, why handcrafted weave matter in automated world? And ikat is such a relevant topic for this question. Why ikat shouldn't have been going on to powerloom? You know, the angle from which people have accepted handloom to go on to ikat to go on to powerloom was absolutely baseless. Their argument saying that ikat is half hand process, like tying, dyeing, everything, a pre-loom process is done by hand. But believe me, the way powerloom industry has cut down the prices for these ancillary workers, your heart will sink if you go to the villages. I have kept last 5 years of my time, my 80% time I have given to these villages. As Mrs. Wani mentioned, that I was working on a large UN project, and I have been seeing so many weavers and senior citizens, senior women who were earlier engaged in ancillary activity of tying, dyeing, and joining the warp. They are paid very less now. The power loom trader or a power loom manufacturer is really bargaining the price to bottom low. And if you come around here in a wholesale market, in I think Chowtuppal, if you go, there is a power loom fabric available at 150 rupees, and ikat fabric at 150 rupees. If you buy a Mangalgiri fabric, if you buy 60-40 cotton, if you buy Chirala cotton, if you buy any handloom fabric today, putting yarn cost and wages together, it will not be less than 135 or 150 rupees. You know, our weavers, we weave our 60-40 cotton at 160, 170 rupees. You analyze the whole value chain, that who gets how much is for the yarn, how much for the wages, how much for harnessing the loom. And can you imagine that the whole value chain of ikat, tying, dyeing has been absorbed in that 150 rupees? How? So this is what my question. This is what my question to authorities who have said it's okay. Supply ikat to handloom stores, handloom emporias. We will take it as a handloom product. And reed pick. Those who are technically aware, they know that the life of the fabric is reed and pick, means warp and weft. And traditionally, our looms, our ikat looms are with such a dense reed. Our weavers will not be so greedy that they would change the reed to save some yarn. The reeds have been there on their looms for years together, and the same amount of compact fabric that they have been weaving. But when it comes to power loom, to save the yarn, also the selection of yarn is cheaper. The reed is so open. So if you put a power loom ikat fabric and handloom fabric together, you will see vast difference. And common people who are buying, who are not textile designers, who are not expert, who are the consumers, who are the people who wear garments, they would agree with me 100%, because the power loom ikat is not even lasting for 6 machine wash. So keep aside 6 hand wash, it does not last. And how about the dyes? The dyes had been a biggest problem. Of course, today's talk is not technical. I don't want to make it technical because I know Vishwa attracts people from lots of different disciplines. But I want to insist on dyes when we talk about ikat, because the naphthol dyes, which is banned in most developed countries, all developed countries have banned naphthol dyes, which is carcinogenic for the environment and for the user and for the person who's wearing naphthol dyed garment, is still available in India in parts of many states, and in Telangana, most ikat is produced with bright red and bright pink, all the colors that you see, bright green, emerald green. These are the colors which are naphthol dyes, and they are not azo-free. And the buyers insist on azo-free dye. But tell me, which village has a NHDC depot which stocks azo-free dye? Or where is the source? Okay, as a weaver community, as a collective, I want to buy azo-free dyes. What are my options? I have to order it in bulk from Hyderabad trader. Even most of those traders stock dyes without a label, which does not have any label which says this is azo-free, it is made by this dye company. Now, the dye is another factor. So much of hard work. These two pictures I'm showing here for people to understand that before you wear your ikat fabric, you realize how much effort is. Look at the marking. Design first has to be converted into the graph, and then the marking on the yarn, and then the women collectives that I have trained under the project. Now they do everything themselves, even spreading the warp, winding, which is man's job actually. But they have to spread the warp in hot sun. They will be working in the streets of Koilgudam and the villages Siripuram, Koilgudam, Gatupal, Chautuppal, Narayan Sansthanpuram. So many villages that where women have taken up this job now. And now you see that even little mistake in setting of the design will distort your design. And buyer will not take it, designers will not take it. The human angle to acceptance have gone completely from handloom. That is another thing that we all need to know, that when you have a yarn which is traveling from one end to another end for 60 days in different circumstances, on the street, on the road, in the veranda of a weaver, in the house where children are playing, the damage is bound to happen. And little mistake bound to happen. And you have to have a tolerance. The designers and business people need to find solutions to upcycling anything that is damaged. This is what Creative Bee does. We follow zero waste policy, and we have beautiful products being made which will add to another layer of livelihood. And whoever works with Creative Bee, the interns or design interns or junior designers, they enjoy this activity, converting the left out beautiful textiles, putting them together. So let me not get very passionate about. Please, let's move to the next slide and see this is the success story of my 4 years of hard work in Telangana, where not the state government, then state government, I must say that I have visited so many times their offices and said, please, UN project is over, trainings are all over. I have trained them to retail their own product. In quality, we have trained them. Now, please, every village you give some infrastructure, give them building. These are all small weavers. I would hate to say coolie weavers, but they are coolie weavers. Most of them don't have looms at home, so they have to go elsewhere. But I couldn't do much. And finally, only one district, that is Koilgudam village. So Yadadri district, Nalagonda Yadadri was a combined district then. And a very, very helpful and very, what do you say, a thoughtful bureaucrat has helped us. The collector, district collector has helped us from the rural department, a small grant to this collective. This collective is it's a match society. They have been 170 members have been formulated as a mutually aided cooperative society. Particularly, I have chosen that model. I did not want them to become a cooperative society because that again will attract a lot of politics. I wanted each member to be self-governed and self-sufficient. So this is a small setup. Any of you traveling on Vijayawada highway at Koilgudam, when you pass Koilgudam village, there is a village organic food joint, and in the same campus, a small another collector, lady collector, has given this building. So one collector after another collector, two collectors, district collectors have helped these women. They are so fortunate because no other village would have this facility. So here it's a small facility and they can make everything themselves. Next slide, please. A few senior level officers from various governments have been in dialogue with us to find a way for a common retail buyer to identify handloom and powerloom. I've been receiving few calls, and I took it up seriously. So we have carried out an experiment to insert colored weft in handloom fabric on the salvage at regular intervals so that common buyers can identify. But this may not work for saris and other products. In fabric, the salvage gets trimmed before getting converted into the garment. So on fabric, it works. On saris, I don't know how much it will work. But Powerloom giants are behind us constantly, and they will find some way or the other to copy even this technique. Um, Also, few techies, few technical labs have been also working on the projects where they imbibe a QR code into the thread. There are only experiment level as far as I know. And what we need is a sign, an evident visible sign on the product. Because even if you have a QR code and if you have a fiber, like a thin fiber which is infused with, what do you say, IP of QR code. But then you need your phone to read it, or you need to, do something, some equipment. But my idea is that how many retail clients have that time, they just see the product, they like the color combinations, and it's apt for the occasion, apt for the price, and they would just buy it. But while buying it, they have been cheated saying that this is handloom. So there has to be some way to find out, for them, visually, they should be able to find out. And the efforts are on. Let's see how successful we can be. Next slide, please. Okay, so as I said, I don't want to be very passionate about our Telangana Ikat. And I'm moving on to Bihar, which was my recent visit. As I told you, I was in Delhi, and from Delhi I went to Bhagalpur. I was supposed to do a collection of 150 products, which are in Tassar, and they can be also in Tassar and linen. Um, so Bhagalpur has been very popular for yarn such as Muga, Desi Tassar, and Noil, and Gicha. And for years, for as many, I mean, not years, decades, Bhagalpur has been having its unique identity for Tassar weaving and Tassar saris, Tassar fabrics. Anyone trading or anyone doing business in silk would definitely work from Bhagalpur. But Creative Bee has never sourced in his entire history yarn from Bhagalpur or anything from Bhagalpur, for the reason that 10 years ago only I identified that a lot of adulteration started happening, a lot of art silk or a lot of rayon started getting mixed at the reeling stage with the tussar. And so I have kept my yarn sourcing source at a most remote location as Jagdalpur, which is in Chhattisgarh, where there is a huge Kosa center, Kosa society. And mostly I like to use the Ahimsa, by default, Ahimsa cocoon, which is silk, short fiber silk like hand spun, Gicha, Muga, and Noil and all. So the point is that the region which was feeding the retail and export with variety of tussar is now infested with powerloom. The country is so rich, having 100 diversified handloom products, each having its unique identity. And today, most of them are at the crossroad because the handloom weavers and the powerloom weavers, they cannot be on the same page as far as the prices go, as far as the quality. And common buyers need to understand that. I don't know what is the solution for that, that the common buyer can understand the difference and pay higher price for handloom. But then Powerloom also is mocking the handloom product. On the next slide, please, you will see that. Next slide, please. Here, see, you will see that the conditions that Bhagalpur weavers are weaving, few clusters that I found, which were still making beautiful tussar saris and muga saris with jerry borders, and also the youth, to my surprise, youth also involved in pre-loom processes. That means there is a lack of livelihood in that region. Not many industries, maybe, not many options. So the youth also, I met so many young weavers in this particular cluster in Bihar. I was happy and I was talking to them. I spent 15 minutes, talking to them saying that, beta, continue karo, jo kar rahe ho, aage kafi hope hai. But within my heart, I'm saying, does it have hope? What is it that we are, guiding them towards? So, and you see this third picture, what must be his age? He's 80 plus and still weaving. And he's making the furnishing fabric, which will be sold at Walmart or IKEA or any international store. So next slide will show the export product. Please go to the next slide. And yeah, here only one ray of hope that I met Ibrahim ji a few kilometers away in a village, and he's running a large handloom cooperative sort of infrastructure for himself. Also, he's sourcing cocoon from different locations, and he has hand spinning, and he's providing employment to over 100 weavers and spinners. And he make khewa saris, which are very beautiful. I got first few samples of stoles and saris to see how it will catch natural dye, because these 150 products that I have to source have to be processed in natural dye, and hand block printed. And so the colors came out very rich on these products. And here almost more than half a day we spent. Next slide, please. So these are the giant equipments that I saw. I was taken to one of the factories by the coordinator who was helping me. Also, Weaver Service Center, which is set up by central government. My normal protocol is wherever I go, I first take help of Weaver Service Center to identify what is good weaving region, where are the clusters, And so they had sent me to a couple of clusters. But then within the city, when I came to the Powerloom area, and I'm shocked to see these giant machines making, everything is so polluted. The fiber is in the air, the noise is in the air, and they are making the same sari, same identical sari as being made on handloom. Next slide, I think may have a picture of that sari. I'm not sure. No, I think next slide doesn't have the picture because this is now, I have gone on to the Kota region, but let me conclude Bhagalpur, that identical sari woven with muga warp, Desitasar warp and muga weft and gicha in pallu and jari border. And there is a difference of about 1,000 rupees per sari. But to me, technically looking, the difference will be more than 1,500 between the handloom sari and the powerloom sari. But powerloom sari is gaining and not selling it cheap, but trying to keep just 1,000 rupees difference from the handloom sari. And for somebody who's printing on it, they are not going to look at this. The large printing industries, they are not going to look at handloom as an option, because straight away 1,000 rupees they save on a sari. And as a technically vertically inclined, what do you say, production facility person, I would say that when you print on hand-woven sari, the effect of dyes and colors will be beautiful. The person who's wearing the drape will be good. But on the surface, both saris are going to look alike, because both saris will have starch and, just removed from the loom. Only if you are particularly observing the reed peak. Again, technical subject, layman cannot every now and then check the reed peak. By looking at the reed peak of a product, let that be sari or a fabric, you can really make out whether it's powerloom or handloom. Earlier, people used to say that you have to check the selvage. Let me make this clear. Now there are handlooms which does not require pinning the selvage. So there are no holes on the selvage. So only if you have holes on the selvage, it's handloom. That has become a myth. That's why, again, very difficult to identify what is handloom and what is powerloom. Moving on to my another consulting project in Kota. Kota is situated at almost like heart of the country, but really not well connected. You have to fly to Udaipur or Jaipur or Delhi and take a train or take a car. But I think Kota, this place is like finding green tree after walking miles in the desert, because I haven't seen the invasion of Powerloom right there in Kota town. And the reason is, though this town has 5,000 plus women weavers and they make most incredible hand-woven Kota Doria saris, they have guarded their territory very well. They are not allowing powerloom giants to come in. Of course, it will be not right for me to say that it's absolutely powerloom free because the outskirts and the villages nearby, they have powerloom units and they make plain white Kota Doria, which fuels the printing industry of Jaipur and Gujarat, Ahmedabad, and so those are the white Kota checks, raw materials, saris, and all that is produced in powerloom neighboring villages, but within the city. I have been to so many looms and so many beautiful designs I have seen and women of all age group. If you see the next slide and this particular slide also, see the Kota technique is very much laborious compared to even Ikat, our own Andhra or Telangana technique of pre-loom process is very, very laborious because the yarn is so fine. And yarn, imagine the Kota Doria checks you have seen and you have worn. Each thread has to be handled. And imagine, I mean, even me, if I am holding that thread and I have to draft my loom, I don't think I can do it. Next slide will show you that. Next slide, please. These are the beautiful Kota Doria saris. They also use jari, which is, they say that pure, which could be about, say, 60% or 50% an alloy of the zari. And these beautiful designs never existed earlier. 20 years ago, you didn't find Kota saris as ornamentally woven as these. And my next slide will tell you why they are so ornamentally produced now. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Yeah, so the Kota traders have been visiting Hyderabad and Pune and cities which are like Bombay also. And they are told by the clients to make saris like Upada, like Paithani, some kind of a guidelines have been given by the clients. And someone somewhere started making these saris like Upada designs and like Paithani borders. And as you know, in weaving community, one person start making something new, the other person would attempt. And today, to my shocking discovery, 80% of Kota weavers are producing saris which are so heavily woven like this. And the fact is that Kota technique does not allow them to weave the interlock the way Upada is done, the way Paithani is done. The Kota technique is different. And that's why when you see the reverse side of the sari, you will see so many floats. Of course, if they want to bind the floats, they can, but it will take ages for them to finish the sari. They cannot then compete the price. So my intention was to bring back the daintily designed, beautiful Kota Doria saris back, at least on some looms, and they will fall under mid-range. These saris would cost anywhere between 35,000 to 50,000. And a trader who leave Kota with about, say, 20 saris of this value will be very happy to come to Hyderabad, Bombay,
Which
Pune.
is it the same slide you're talking about?
Yeah, it's the same slide I'm talking about. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that these saris have swept the market, but weavers don't understand that if you sell one of these saris, you may earn, 10,000. But if you make 50 saris of what you used to make, and there are stores who are hungry there are retail stores who doesn't have a good range of Kota saris. So again, here the question is how to educate the weavers and bring them back to their original quality. Next slide, please. Now, of course, I have to be keeping time in mind, and my area of works are so diverse that I'm tempted to speak about each and every technique that I'm working presently with. And this village I have worked for over 25 years. And this is the village Kotpad in Orissa. It's on the border of Chhattisgarh. It produces the the al dye, sorry. And al is a root. Lots of people have worn and bought these products. They know about the product, and there is a full length film being made recently. So the link to the film is on my last slide. Please move on to the next, where I want. Yeah, there is something not going in order, quite order, but anyhow, this is so the Kotpad saris. You will see some more products ahead, but Kotpad project is a full-length documentary being done by Marangoni Institute in Bombay and London. I lectured at Institute Marangoni about 2 years ago, and I said that students have to work with villages like this. And I had shown what Kotpad is and how laborious the Kotpad technique is. And 2 years later, I get a call from Marangoni, London, and Bombay saying that we have grant to make a film and a coffee table book, and will you help us? So, in collaboration with Creative Bee, past 8 months they have been working and filming and making a book. And last Saturday, the book and the film has been launched in Bombay, and you all can view the film. It's made very well. So I'm not going to talk much about the Kotpad textiles. But that is one of the most endangered textile in my list, which will go with my lifetime if they don't get any help or promotion. Actually, they need a lot of help with their homes, and that's a different matter, which I may speak about that at the end of it. I may want Mrs. Wani to do a small fundraiser for their homes, because Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana money they didn't get fully, and it's a human psychology, obviously, that you want to first repair your kitchen, you want to first make your bedroom within that one room. First, you want to repair your home, and then for the loom, you thought you will extend the roof when you get rest of the money. But the rest of the money is taking its own time, and so the looms in the village where there are hardly weavers left after COVID, hardly dyers left, many looms are just wound up and waiting for the money to come so that they can have their work shade extended in front of their home. I felt so desperate. I felt I can just go with few trucks load of cement and bricks and sheets and just let them build their own shades. How long one can wait? This thing is going now. The knowledge is going.
What's the
So
total amount, Bina, you're looking for that particular product?
15 lakhs. 15 lakhs is
50.
total amount, which will cover about 22 families' homes,
Okay.
work sheds,
Okay.
And anyways, now we move on to the next. This is Assam. Assam is my
Next
very.
slide, Akhilesh.
Um, like Kota, Assam and Meghalaya. Meghalaya was a real good discovery, a sense of satisfaction to see that there is no power loom has gone there. The villages are still so pure, so much beautiful work being done, and airy silk cultivation is scarce. The worm has been treated like a small baby kept in mosquito nets, and the products which are made now are also very beautiful. But as a designer, I'm I'm supposed to make them international in terms of the feel and the textures, and I have to play with the different yarn that they have, like Muga, Eri and Muga and Tussar. I can mix even cotton. They have Garo Hills in Meghalaya where they make beautiful cotton. So this was my just preliminary visit. I chanced upon a very beautiful. So here I don't need to explain. I think everybody has seen silkworm, which will manifest into a butterfly. It is up to us if we allow the butterfly to bloom or not. And if the butterfly blooms, then that becomes ahimsa silk, short fiber, hand spun, and made like the small spindle of yarn, what you see there. And it is so beautiful, and the texture is beautiful. Also, it is a piece silk because it has all the vibes of a good life that has gone in, from caterpillar to a full life butterfly. I'm an advocate of hand spun and hand processed, anything that is hand processed. So next slide will show the looms and the kind of weaving setup that this is partly Assam and partly Meghalaya, because to go to Meghalaya, you have to fly to Guwahati. And in Guwahati, I must mention that there is a Assam Weavers Collective, and their work and the way they are putting in effort to provide work to so many tussar weavers I'm really delighted to see that. And of course, Umdan village, which is a Eri Silk, declared as Eri Silk village by Meghalaya government. Also, there are women weavers, and I saw a number of women weavers harnessing the looms, and morning begins with, this activity, which made me really feel very good. And also, my objective was that I would like to see, I may get to see a Pina fiber, that is called Pina fiber or a Pina fiber, because pineapple is growing immensely. And in Thailand, we have worked in Thailand and Malaysia and Southeast Asia so much. And in 18th century, pineapple fiber was extracted in Philippines and made into a very gossamer, very stylish garments in 18th century. And now the pineapple extraction machines are made in India and exported to Southeast Asian countries. But in our own country, we still don't use much of pina and banana fiber and yarn. But I think as a designer, I feel that silk can be mixed with pina fiber and it can be really beautiful. So anyway, these are my future thoughts. Next slide, please. I also went to Cherrapunji. Of course, after working for 3 to 4 days, I thought one day I must take as a holiday and see Cherrapunji. But to my surprise, the cab driver knew what kind of activities we are inclined, and he took us to Sri Ramakrishna Mission Weaving Studio, which is adjoining to the ashram. And I felt as if I have come to my NID's weaving studio. Because the way they have warp making and they have winding machine for bobbins and the looms. And guess what they make? They make gamchas. Gamchas are the most inexpensive textile product, which is so beautiful. They are like narrow towels, which are used by the pilgrims who will visit the ashram. So mostly they make those gamchas. And on some looms, they do make little silk saris. And in some looms, they make wider white towels. The looms are so beautiful. I felt as if I was not working, if I didn't have so much of responsibility, I would just settle down there for 6 months and create beautiful products there. So Amiji took us around the whole thing and said, years ago, this was set up. And since then, whatever we produce, we sell here. And it's only for our own requirement. Some tourists will come and buy the sarees though. So next slide, please. Yeah, by mistake, the coat part slide has appeared here, but never mind. You all will see that movie, the film which is made. But what I'm trying to show in coat part is the fabric that you see on the left corner is the collection made by the London Marangoni students. And on the book launch day, they had made very contemporary looking garments out of those stripes and checks, and also some fabrics that we made coat part, we were weaved for as per their design. And indigo, why indigo at Kotpad? Somebody who's familiar with Kotpad would say, why indigo? How? About 10 years ago, when Keshav and me, we invited this group, a weavers group, to learn other dyes, because we saw that all trees are depleting and deforestation is so much that now 50 kilometers away, the jungle has gone from Kotpad, and there are not many all trees. And there's a lot of story. My 25 years of my connection with this village cannot be completed in 5 minutes. So I leave that for other time. But now the fact is that all dye is scarce. And you will see the film, you will see how intense and laborious the process of cow dung process for 15 days and achieving this red color. However, village is moving towards chemical dye. Whoever are the skilled weavers who are doing the extra weft technique are now going after chemical dye. And as Telangana has accepted Powerloom Ikat, same way Orissa Emporium is buying the chemical dyed Kotpad saris. So matter is finished there. We are not asking any questions. Nobody is asking any questions. Kotpad saris, because weaving is one technique and dyeing is another technique. Both are heirloom, both are endangered. They existed from Mohenjo-daro times. And now at the mercy of people who decide what has to be accepted and what has not to be accepted. And so we taught them few more colors 10 years ago. That is indigo and jackfruit yellow. So the weavers came to creatively dye farm. The jungle have a lot of jackfruit trees, and the furniture makers, the smugglers, should I say them, call them, who smuggle the wood of jackfruit trees. They used to. Now I think rules are strict, but so there is a lot of sawdust that in the region you can find, and that sawdust, my husband Keshav, his R&D says that gives brilliant yellow color. And so we have been dyeing yellow from, we have been extracting yellow from sawdust of jackfruit tree. So we taught them jackfruit, then we taught them tea brown, because tea, the inferior quality tea or discarded tea, tree or used tea powder will give a beautiful beige color, and that will look very nice with the, so you can see in the broad stripe, that is what used for the warp, and weft of course is raw tussar. So tea brown and yellow from jackfruit and indigo, and these are adding more colors to and the stole what you see behind me, the Ganga Jamuna border, you know. So like as you see, we are trying our best to promote, preserve, document this particular village, and there are 10 more villages like this, and there are so many textiles which we want to write about and document, and want to at least preserve them for the history and for the generations to come. Next slide, please. Yeah. So the next slide is thank you. And these are the link to my first talk, which was by Vishwa. That talk was more extensive than today's talk, I must say. Because today, the more I want to speak about handloom, the more I'm talking about powerloom, because that's the reality. Whichever place that I'm going, my recent journeys have all really disheartened me to see that more powerloom and less of handloom. That's why the Meghalaya slides I have kept for the uh, last few slides of my talk, because that would leave us with the optimism. That would leave us with the optimism that yes, not the whole country, but still there are parts of country which are still having the purity of handloom. They are still earning their livelihood, and do something immediately. Take them to the next level. And my questions are many. I'm sure you are going to ask me a lot of questions, but my question today, which I'm going to leave you behind with, is if machine is running for you, for your industry, aren't you putting petrol or oil or any such thing into the machine? Will machine run, or will your car run without petrol? No, your car will break down. So why can't we think that these are not machines, these are human beings? And unless their minimum needs are met with by government or by NGOs or by well-wishers or by people who think of handloom, think of their survival, one step beyond, just not buying, but one step beyond, if you go and do something. There are some very highly placed individuals, just one word from them, and somebody would give CSR. Somebody would, believe in them and say, okay, yes, take the CSR, help this village. And my question to everyone is that will machine run without fuel? No. So how do we expect the human beings, the weavers, highly skilled weavers, to go on for decades after decades with the same infrastructure? The government do provide the schemes, government do plan for them. High level committees are structured. Individuals like experts like us are part of that committee. But country is so big, state governments are different. By the time the schemes reach the end user, I'm afraid to say that there is hardly any impact that I see. And I'm in my twilight years already. I don't see much impact. So let's get together. Let's do what we can. Not just buying handloom is enough. Not just opposing powerloom is enough, but one step ahead. Let's do something more for any community, any small thousands of weavers around you. So this is the link to the quote part film. It has been just released, and the other one is the Vishwa talk. And anything else that you want from me, please let me know. I can always send you more videos, more links on any textiles that is handloom textiles from this country. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Wani and the team for bearing with me my technical difficulties and I think slow internet, so I could not do it myself. Can we go to question answer and
Yeah, quickly.
my
Before we move on to the question answers, I'd like to take 30 seconds of your time for a quick poll. This will help us get to know you better and tailor future topics to your interests. A big thank you to everyone here today. Your presence and participations means a lot to all of us, and I've made this webinar protecting weavers, standing by the weaving community, raising the awareness in the public. There's a dire need to do it. There may have been probably 100 or 150 people who have attended this program. Each of you, please ensure that this is an urgent requirement and there has to be a lot of awareness spread across this Indian community. While you fill your poll, I also would like to extend our esteemed speaker, Ms. Beena, for sharing her valuable time and insights. And I can understand the pain she's trying to communicate. Thank you so much. I will quickly try to close the call in the next 5 minutes. There is one fundraiser, Mahdiya fundraiser. The Mahdiya initiative is a project founded by Ms. Beena Rao, our speaker, in memory of her mother. This initiative provides senior mothers with a monthly allowance of 1,500 rupees to support their daily needs. Many elderly women, especially in middle and lower income families, lack access to even small amounts of cash for personal expenses. Despite having savings, Mahdiya not only offers financial relief, but also restores a sense of purpose by engaging them in making diya wicks, a simple yet meaningful activity. However, the pandemic has reduced the initial reach, and we need your support to extend its benefits to more mothers across India. It's a simple thing. Old ladies sit at home, make the cotton wicks that we put in the diyas we put to God. This is, Beena, you need to explain how beautifully you explained it to me about how it's made with ghee and the fragrance that you have added.
give me and
You're on mute.
Yeah. So Mahdiya emerged as my observation from the society in general. Please don't take this as any biased opinion, but it so happens that cost of living is growing every day, and middle income group and lower income group families particularly migrated from towns to city and village to towns. However, they want to support mother. They do support them with medical needs and food and shelter, all that mothers are getting from loving daughters and sons or whoever kith and kin. But the earning member of the family has so many responsibilities. They have to provide for their growing children's education. Every day child comes home from school and college with new demand, new phone, new shoes. So you look at your children demand, or versus your mother may have some demands. Your mother, every individual will have small needs, not big needs. Big needs are taken care of. How about the small needs? If they don't have pension of husband coming, if they have not worked, they don't have any monthly income happening, and they had been very well off, very rich women in their prime, but all their investments have been safely parked somewhere, which is not really easily, approachable. Now, it's very difficult to explain this situation. You need to see the mothers who will have to be, deprived of small needs like कि आज मुझे केला खाना है, लेकिन फैमिली ने तो केला नहीं मंगवाया है, फैमिली के पास घर में केला नहीं है, but my stomach, my age, I need to eat a papaya every day. I need to eat banana every day, and or somebody has come to meet me from the village who has passed in first class, and I need to give 50 rupees in that boy's hand as a, good luck token because the family had been regarded so well. Any n number of, I need to do some donation in a temple that I believed in. My children may not believe in that sect, but me and my husband, we have believed in it. I need to do some puja. I need to send some money, some prasad, whatever. I mean, endless needs, human needs will be, right? And mothers will just keep quiet and, all their desires are just kept to themselves. Some mothers would ask for it. Then the children want to meet those demands, but they are handicapped with so many of their, obligations, the social obligations, the wedding, any ceremony that happens takes away a chunk of money. So please don't take it in a negative spirit. Children of elderly mothers, pardon me if I have hurt any sentiment of that kind anywhere. But what I want is that a lady who was thriving in her youth, a lady who has lived well, traveled well, and in her twilight years, in her old age, 70 plus age, she has to fend for even small 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 rupees, which situation should not arise. And the very thought made me do this. And my village in Gujarat, Tamrachi, in South Gujarat. And there are old age homes where, they don't need money, but they need the activity. They want women, elderly women staying in old age home to do diyas so the diyas are, so the beautiful part of this project is that ma need not make diya compulsory. Even if you have not even one diya made, you are going to get your next month's petty cash. I call it a petty cash. There is a village coordinator appointed who's a needy young person, so who would be on our salary, and she would have made the cards, identity cards of the senior mothers, and she would go home to home and give this whatever 1,500 cash and little cotton wool to make diyas. Now at the center there is a molding, wax and ghee combination molding hand machines. So you bring these wicks and then have equal percentage of ghee, which is melted butter. So ghee and wax and little bit of natural perfume you add to that, and you mold them into round diyas, and you pack them in non-plastic uh, bags. Nowadays, you get the bags called "I'm not plastic," thick plastic bags. So they look like plastic, but they are starch bags. So you pack them 60 or 100, and then whoever is doing Havan at home, whoever is doing Katha at home or at the temple. My friend started in Bombay, and Bombay Babulnath temple used to buy these. There was always so much demand. And I, being a very strict person in terms of rules and regulation, I had kept a very stringent rule around it that nobody can add their profit, nobody can, they have to pay their own courier cost if getting to some other city, and they cannot add the profit and sell it. So it is not to earn profit, but it is to facilitate senior mothers.
Can we
And
buy these diyas in Creative Bee?
no, Creative Bee also the same thing. Before COVID, we used to have some boxes. Now one box as a sample I have, but in transit, earlier we had plastic boxes, and now we have moved in onto the non-plastic. So the plastic boxes in transit used to crack, and the courier was difficult. So as and when I travel to Gujarat, I used to bring some with me. So at Creative Bee don't have these diyas, and Creative Bee doesn't sell even handicraft product that is developed in our foundation. As you see, at Tikopaka, we had created a center for wooden products, and we link them with Fab India. But if you come to Creative Bee, we don't have those. See, as a young designers, we felt that India is too at an infant stage. The crafts are at infant stage, and they need lot of good finishing and lot of good packaging to earn better price. And
Then how do people access this?
so then there is a number given on the Madhya package.
Okay, got it.
So
Got
they
it.
call that number, and it has to
Okay,
come.
I'll
Now,
quickly close this and we'll jump to question answers.
thank you for listening to this.
Yeah,
Running
and
it.
as we are entering into the sacred period of Pitru Paksh, this
Yeah.
is a time to honor and remember our ancestors According to our ancient traditions, offering good deeds during these 16 days not only brings peace to their souls, but also invites blessings into our lives. Please keep that in mind while thinking about the diyas. Many such people are old people benefit out of it. Also consider the Go Seva, one of the powerful ways to give back. There's a fundraiser in Vishwa on that, and also Annadanam. You can consider this. With this, the upcoming talks, I'd like to go to the upcoming talks. It's on ecology and environment. Dr. Disha Ahuja and Dr. Sandeep Karajan Nagi, designers of Ahuja Engineering Services Private Limited, sustainable biogas plants, solutions for wet waste management. This is on September 28th, 2024 at 11 a.m. One of the projects that Vishwa is doing now is Zero Waste Hyderabad. We have around 38,000 communities across Hyderabad who can move their wet waste to either convert it into compost or make it into gas, which will help street lights in their colony or within their gated community. It'll provide solutions for it. So please do have a look at it. This is an extremely important talk. The next one is by Mr. Yashwant Reddy, co-founder of F Drones, the future of drones and their possibilities in various sectors. Then next one is learning lives lessons from Ramayana and Mahabharata, Mr. Sahadev Komaragiri, founder Soham Academy of Human Excellence, another excellent man who's contributing in a big way to our society. This talk is on 19th October, Saturday at 11 a.m. I would like to thank Vishwa Talks team for bringing up such pertinent topics. Lastly, please take a moment to subscribe to Vishwa Talks to get alerts on every new and exciting talks, exclusive events, and access to the Vishwa community. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn for future updates. It's important that you'll press the subscribe button because mostly some of the topics don't get, they get blocked in the social media. It gets very difficult for us to reach out to people. So if any of you all are interested in any topic, and please share it with your friends and family on WhatsApp, the link. With this, thank you so much to all of you, to Ms. Beena, to all the participants, and to the Vishwa team. With this, we'll move on to the question and answer session. Shmael, would you like to ask your question?
Yeah, of course. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. A very interesting presentation. And I want to ask Bina next question. How, according to you, protecting handloom handloom heritage can support protecting industrial history?
Can you repeat
Yeah,
that?
you need to repeat.
Yeah, I asking you how protecting handloom heritage can support protecting industrial history heritage in India.
Yes, if I am rightly getting your question, you are saying that how protecting handloom and heritage can contribute industrially in India. Is that the question?
Industrial history, industrial history.
Industrial history. Okay.
In industrial
History.
yeah.
History.
Yeah, I mean, handloom, as my previous talk of Vishwa, Mr. Samuel, if you have time today, please go through that, because there I have spoken a great deal about the whole history of how industrialization has caught us off guard. And those days when the machine-made yarn and machine-made fabric started happening in India and the chemical dyes came in, how the cottage industry has been neglected. and it does not, the damage does not happen overnight or within few days, but the industrial revolution did cut into the handloom production and the cottage industry production and destabilized the whole sector for many years, many decades. And that's why in today's talk, I was talking about the era of resurgence where there was a hope. And suddenly, here again, I see that, so we need industry. I'm very much open-minded person to welcome any change or any growth-related matters, but you cannot pollute the environment, right? I have a client from Spain, a bulk exporter buyer who found us this time, like post-COVID, and they say, okay, we cannot worry about handloom weavers, but we want to worry about the planet first. So source organic cotton, even if it is not handmade, it is fine. Your dyes have to be organic, which we have. And so source the certified organic cotton, variety of textures, which Tirupur is making, and print on them and make garments for us. 525 garments were made because my weavers have to survive, but also my farm has to survive. My dyers have to earn their salary, right? So, and his point was right that, okay, weavers have to survive, but also the planet, because the pollution, see, weaving with hand spun organic cotton yarn is next to impossible. The moment you get the organic yarn to your weaving cluster, it is going to get corrupted and the labs are not going to certify it as 100% organic. So this is where my hands are tied. I am not been able to buy organic yarn and weave on handloom. I hope I have answered your question, Mr. Samuel.
Shmel, I would like to add to this.
Please.
You were saying, if I'm not wrong, you're saying how can handloom add to the industrial history of the country? Are you saying that? You have to unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I received answer.
Shmel, Shmel, what I want to add to what Ms. Beena said is, any civilization without culture will not last. Today, you go to Japan, they talk about tea ceremony and training people in the tea ceremony. The weaving culture in our country is also culture. It adds foundation to our culture. Today in India, the younger generation thinks money is success. Simple things of the weaving community as a family works together. When a sari is being woven, the mother, the father, the uncle, the child, the grandson, everybody is talking about it. It's a baby that is coming to birth out there. That social fabric is slowly disappearing. This weaving industry, which was there from thousands of years, is now disappearing in our rat race to success. I'm not sure if I'm able to communicate well, but culture is as much important as prosperity in terms of money. Just making more power looms, more exports, more turnover is not the answer. India needs to observe, look back, protect its culture, protect its weavers, protect its handloom industry, ensure the younger generation who are now going into education and moving out of their varnas, out of their original family businesses, should not lose their identity, should be proud about being born in a weavers community, should be proud about continuing that passion. Because the peace, a son of a weaving community can go become a software engineer and start coding. But is he at peace? He might get 40,000 rupees or a lakh of rupees. But the joy and peace of making a a little sari or a dupatta or a little fabric. So India needs to relook at itself. There's a dire need for it, for people to understand the importance of it and get back and protect it. Yeah, I hope I make some sense. I don't think industrialization is important.
Very interesting response. And I want to ask another question. What government and authorities of India do for encourage protecting handloom heritage?
Yes, government is doing equally as it is doing for farmers, or doing for education, we have ministries for every stream of what do you say, work. But the thing is, the country as big as India, and there are so many diversified political groups, there are so many diversified religions, and villages are so remote, like the Kotpal like village, which is so remote. Kota is so remote. So, and another thing is, like, government have ministers and commissioners, and ministers and commissioners don't stay there forever. We do, we stay for 25 years with our cause, but they don't stay there forever, right? So the files change, the decisions change, the background in what they make the decision is different. At right time, a right piece of advice may have changed the GST regime. That is my biggest complaint today, that on yarn, if there is GST and if weaver is not having any GST registration, he is not getting the input tax. And so the burden of tax of yarn that is falling on the product, and product is becoming more expensive. So it's not that the intentions are all there. Funds have been allocated, but implementation of everything sometimes happens, sometimes not happening. And my integrated setup of creative, be itself, if you take from yarn to handloom, weaving, printing, dyeing, sourcing raw material, there are so many glitches at various levels, difficult to control it. So, and I have watched government, central government, from time to time, from one political party to another political party. As past 20 years, I've been on and off on advisory committees. And I must say that government do want to help this sector, but priorities may be different of a person who is at the helm of it. Thank you.
You want to say something? You want to say something? Shruel? Would you like to say something? You need to unmute if you're saying something. Okay. There's a question from Mr. Uma Shekhar. I am a handloom enthusiast. How to get connected with the genuine weavers? I wish to start a handloom store where I can showcase indigenous handloom and handicrafts.
This is a great question, and welcome on board the handloom bandwagon. You can start the store. The question is, which model of business that you want to adopt? You want to adopt the supply chain, the stores like Fab India or West Side or other stores are, adopting, where procurement is done through a very expensive method. I'm saying that because few years ago, I had launched a label called Kabir, and Mrs. Vani is aware of my Kabir initiative. Kabir was a brand that I wanted a big corporate company, business in textiles, to adopt. Also, government can adopt Kabir, where the whole supply chain is created from the remotest artisan or handloom weaver to the retail end. And it is possible because I have done it. I have worked with the Ikat artisan. I know, I have proven it. And also Kabir was launched in my own store in Delhi 5 years ago. The article was published. Number of corporates came for meetings, but the social good at heart was lacking there. And so I couldn't convince them for my concept. Kabir is hibernating. It is still alive. Kabir is a formula where you would market products which are made in deep heart of the country, without designer intervention, without modifications, as chawal and dal, rice and pulses are produced, that way handloom and handicrafts are produced in India. And not even one day artisan can sit without producing it if he has to survive. These are the crafted products I'm talking about when I'm addressing Kabir. And though my own brand is a designer brand, it's a best quality handloom. There are 100 plus brands like this in India. Not enough. We have so much production happening in the villages, and where are those channels for marketing? So somebody who wants to start a store has to make a choice. You want to have a quality handloom? Are you a designer? You want to travel to the village and give your design input? See, creating a designer product line is not easy. You see my journey. That's why I had to create a vertically integrated structure, because you can't just travel to one village, go to one weaver and say, भैया उधर भागलपुर में जाके ये बॉर्डर का कलर चेंज कर दो, ये वेफ्ट चेंज कर दो, ये पेपर का पैटर्न है, इसको अडॉप्ट कर लो, मेरे रीड पे कितने आने चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं होता है. Because for a weaver to change anything, it matters of length of the work, minimum 12 saris, minimum 24 saris. The dyeing may be a constraint. He can't just 2 kgs of yarn, he cannot dye. There are so many constraints, you know. So making a designer product is not just so easy as other stores are, boasting about it. They say, oh, we have a curated collection coming up. Yes, curated, selected from what weavers have made, but it's not a designer collection. So today, India need more stores and more retail outlets for Kabir-like products. If Kabir was adopted by ministry, in my recent meeting, I was fortunate to meet the decision makers, and I did broach Kabir. I took Kabir brochure and handed over to the ministry, saying that let one of the handloom day you announce Kabir as a program for the whole country, because we have no marketing channels left now for handicraft and handloom. So this person who wants to start a store to decide what product want to sell, handloom, the village produce handloom or the designer handloom. Then I will guide you. My personal email ID is there, my phone numbers and everything. Creativebee.in. If you go in there, also all the information, and you will see the difference. What is specialized product in handloom? How we are doing services? We are consulting for somebody to open a store or somebody to have their collection, and what is sourcing directly from artisan from remote areas. Thank you.
Please ask your question. Unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, I'm Doipan Chakravarti, and thank you, Vish, for talks, and thank you, Binaji, for the wonderful enlightening session. So, me and my wife, we are from West Bengal, and we are also trying to do similar preservation of handloom craft of West Bengal. So, my question was that how do you communicate to the end buyer the difference between Powerloom and handloom as a product?
Yes, very valid question, Mr. Chakrabarti. You will have to make your brand speak about it. Like how Creative Bee over the years, I don't have a marketing department in Creative Bee. In today's time, I regret not having a marketing department, but I have never thought about creating a marketing department, because the policies that we made, the products that we make, all the processes are going into making those products speak about it and your brand, but that takes time. It's called organic reach. Creative Bee today is sitting on an organic reach across retail, across e-commerce, across export, but that took how many decades? Now, in your case, if you want to promote transparency and fair trade, these are the two unspelled words which go with the handloom and craft industry, because you have to be transparent and you have to be fair. Transparent to your buyer. Even if your buyer want to visit your artisan, you should be bold enough to take your buyer to the artisan, because you, being a technically involved person, you know that even buyer cannot take away your weavers or your craftsmen, because not easy in India today. Today, after so many decades, for me to get a parcel from Kotpad or me to send a indigo dyed yarn to Kotpad takes 10 days. And so much of mismanagement of postal service and courier. So that fear you don't have. So you have a transparent policy when in your front end for your clients, and your back end have fair policy. You think that if you had to live in that village with that one loom, how much money you would need. You have 2 children and a wife to support. Just put yourself into his role and decide how much money he should earn. And believe me, the moment you have this approach, all your problems are solved. Am I mean, my answer is good enough. And disclaimer will be on your product saying 100% handmade. Of course, nowadays, a lot of disclaimer for natural dye, for coat part products are not genuine. Though there is so much of red, which is chemically made and used in coat part, people are saying it's natural dye. So it is how you build your company's and brand's image that people will trust you. For Creative Bee, we have never exported through LC. Can you believe that? People trust in us, buyers across the globe. They would just pay you upfront 50% and balance when we say goods are ready. They trust you for technical checks, QC that we have to do because we do it. There cannot be anyone doing better QC than us. So we ourselves do the QC. We reject the goods ourselves if we are not happy. So this is the whole image that I didn't knowingly build it. In my case, it has happened because I kept my policy is very stringent. Okay, thank you.
I don't want
yeah.
the speaker to be muted. Yeah, tell.
Sure. So thank you so much, Binaji, for your response. And just because I think I heard you are based out of New Delhi. So if you permit, if you're not?
No, sorry. I'm based out of Hyderabad and Delhi. I
Okay,
had four franchise stores before COVID. That was my dream for retail expansion. In 2014, I began. So we had a standalone store in Bombay, Delhi, Surat, and Bangalore, other than Hyderabad. But with COVID, my retail dream has now gone incomplete. I would have done 10 stores by now, like Pondicherry, Jaipur, and Goa was on my list also. But now the exports have grown. After COVID, every week I find a new buyer is finding us. And for sustainable, eco-friendly, biodegradable is the mantra now. So I don't regret losing out on the retail front, but now I have to gear up for my front end. My front end and back end has to be stronger to do bigger quantity orders in one go, which is very difficult in hand processed situation. So this is what I'm working. Yeah.
Right. So, is there any way I can get connected to you for more through Vishwa Talks or in any other channel?
Anyone can directly connect my email and phone number, and I can help you pro bono. I can be your consultant. I can guide you for more higher education if you want to still, acquire more knowledge. Anything. You're most welcome as far
Sure.
as it's for Handloom.
So the email ID, is it available in the chat or?
We'll send it to you.
Yeah, or I'll just
Sure.
write.
Okay. Next
Thank you so
question
much.
from Ms. Jamini Borgohain, Assam. Ma'am, what is the source of Muga yarn from Bhagalpur?
Yeah. There is no source of Muga yarn for you to buy the yarn from Bhagalpur because as much yarn is produced is consumed and more than that is consumed. And from Assam, even Bhagalpur is sourcing yarn from Assam and from Chhattisgarh. So from Bhagalpur, you have to buy the yarn from the traders only. You will not, there is no spinning organization, hand processing, Muga yarn cooperative that I know of from Bhagalpur. But I can connect you to the Jagdalpur cooperative. Yeah, is that my answer?
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. This is
Hello.
Kunal. Thank you, Vani ma'am, for organizing this talk, and thank you, Meena ma'am, for giving such a lovely talk on this. Sorry. There is a kid.
Yeah. My email I'm trying to post here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, can
yeah.
you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Thank you so much for happening this today, and especially for Beena ma'am and Shivani ma'am. As a viewer, we feel proud for protecting handloom. You have taken so much of steps, and you've done RD regarding this. Even though, in the thing is, in 1985 we have an handloom act, even we have an handloom act, but still, whether we know whether they follow this handloom act very strictly or not. My suggestion is except the silk, whether they can use any man-made fabrics in the Powerloom. So if they leave the silk for the handloom means it will be more welcome for the handloom viewers, and then we can save the handloom plywood of our viewers. So what would be the suggestion from you, Beena ma'am?
You are trying to say that government should impose restriction on purchase of silk by the powerloom users.
Yes, yes,
See, as just now you said that we had a listed item for handloom, and those listed items were not supposed to be woven on powerloom. But that
yes,
also the implementation of that is not going 100%. So I'm not sure
yes,
if government pass a bill that silk cannot be purchased by powerloom, will that help? Because it will be very
yes.
difficult to control, as I see from
Mhm.
the perspective of government perspective. Yeah.
Okay. Because even in the Olympics, we had some talks about they used some printings, even machine-made fabrics for the Olympics in the social media. But
Hmm.
government could take a more step on this. Even in 1985, if they proposed an act, means even we are now living in 2024, the act should be more powerful than the before one.
I think a new act has to be designed because the vigilance which is required, a manual vigilance is not possible, like for award, national award. I've been on and off on
Yes,
the committee, and we have made certain norms for that. Like, otherwise earlier there was a lot of slack in the products which were coming for selection. Like that, a new law has to be made for handloom. And India Handloom brand, if you don't know, is a new initiative which I have helped Government of India launch about, I think, eight,
okay.
9 years ago, which is a premium handloom product from India, like what Creative Bee makes, that kind of
Yes.
product. So that was
They
a brand,
really,
that was a
I
mark.
feel proud we had an Indian handloom brand because you are suggested, no? So I feel
Yeah,
proud to say that we are the Indian handloom brand. Thank you
very
so
good.
much for implementing that.
So
Okay.
keep up the quality, keep enrolling. Though I agree that process at central ministry level is very slow if you send your sample for All India
Yes,
Handloom
ma'am.
Mark. And it is really also difficult for the buyer to, trust you once you put the mark on that it is the best India handloom product, because adulteration
Okay.
and malpractice is happening everywhere. So, but whatever best we can do, we are doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Especially regarding this GI tag, we need some more awareness, and then there is a lack of process in GI. There is most step, and there's
Yeah.
no one is there for the GI tag. So
Actually,
how
I'm not
can
the
we?
right person. I'm not the right person to answer that. I think you have to answer, question that into the government bodies. But I'm not a real believer of GI mark, because GI mark has not really helped handloom industry. If a kotpad sari is made in
Yes,
Hyderabad, or for example, there are some traders in Hyderabad making uppada saris. You must be knowing them. Many people know
yes,
that there a very prominent fashion label of Hyderabad is weaving uppada saris in Hyderabad and calling it a uppada sari. Now, what is a GI protection? GI protection is that if sari is not made in
good.
uppada, we can't call it uppada sari.
Geographically,
So,
yes,
so how are we controlling it? Or even if you don't call it uppada sari, but weave the same weave elsewhere and market it. Uh, I mean, nobody can stop you from doing it. So GI is it's a good, what do you say, good feel factor for regions. But I don't know. I
yes,
personally have not gained any mileage from that. Like our Pochappalli did not get any mileage, or any other. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Next.
thank you so much, ma'am.
Kunal, you please ask your question
Sure.
quickly.
Sure. So, ma'am, I've been working since I'm a fifth generation, from the weavers family, like fifth gen who has been doing this. Okay, and in last 20 years, like we had grown to, let's just say my dad operates around 200 plus looms. Okay, but last 10 years we have not seen growth. Okay, so because of those reasons, when I started finding out the reasons what it was same, like everyone is falling for power loom sold as handloom. Okay, in the market. So because
Yeah.
of that reason, there is no growth, and rather there is a decline. Okay, so for that I started working on a traceability and authentication solution. But yeah, like it needs to be adopted for our sarees. We give entire thing like what it is made, designs, videos, and everything about the weaving. So once you scan it, you will find all the data. But we wanted really to get implemented everywhere. So would like to work with you on this concept note, like how we can get a traceability implemented, because I've written multiple talks of, let's just say, either DC Handloom or anyone else. Everyone talks about traceability, but no one is really thinking about how it is going to get implemented. I built a technological product, but like really want to get it implemented like
Yeah.
somewhere.
So you are from which place, Mr. Moria?
Varanasi.
So you have looked in Varanasi, right? Now,
Yeah.
there are two things that I would like to tell you. As far as the traceability, I think QR code and the insert chip in your sari is a reality today. So I can put you in touch with people who are making those. That is one thing. Second thing is, please diversify. Why are we talking about sari? Like, see, Kota. When I went to Kota and I saw 5,000 only dupatta and sari. I said, how about dress material? Why are you leaving that big chunk of 5 meters for a buyer to invest somewhere else? Increase a thicker yarn in your weft and make a dress material which will match your dupatta. So product diversification for Varanasi is very important. If you have 200 looms, sari looms, 100 looms, at least keep 25 looms to make international quality products of stoles, of yardage, of throw, home furnishings, and go for, instead of 200 running 200 looms all for sari or for anything else, make at least 25% facility, 100% exportable by the world wants the symbols. Like my Spain buyer added a ship symbol by sea. He's not taking his goods by air to cut down the pollution. He's taking my products by sea. So every USP is adding, and you know at what price the products retail abroad? Like 3,000 rupees shirt is sold at 30,000 rupees. And if you want to see that, I can send you the link to the client's website and you will see. I'm not saying that all that is profit because export has so many duties and so many, but that's the value of your Indian product. So why are we undermining it? Why are we making only saris? Why are we making, at least balance?
Ma'am, just to add to that, like what happens now whenever like someone wants to add buy a fabric or dress material or something, they prefer Powerloom any day because there is no identification. It's cheaper, and it can be sold. And always there is a lining behind it. Like when you're wearing a cord set or like just a cushion cover, there is a lining. So it doesn't matter whether it is finished from the back or not. So people will any day prefer a Powerloom product over
No, not really. There are a lot of people who care for handloom, and
money.
if you can authenticate it, they will buy it.
Yeah. If
Just
you
to
have you ever invited a designer to work with you, or have you given a design assignment to any company or individual designers? Because I think you need a designer, design input. Because the very thinking that the yardage will be only Powerloom produce itself is something is wrong there. Because a lot of premium brands want hand woven fabric certified.
I'll tell you, like, frankly, on this platform that we have been working since long with like multiple national designers, okay, and like still they prefer buying Powerloom and saying it handloom. Like on this stage, I'm telling you,
Yeah, yeah.
because anyway it is a cheaper for them, and the quality like for the end user, and the designer has to say handloom. People will believe it. They are not going to ask, tell me the traceability from where it came and all those things. So they will do a whitewashing of it and they sell it as a. So because of that problem, I have like almost 100 plus stocked dupatta or fabric staying in my like inventory. They're not buying it because for them it's like a costlier. The same
Yeah.
reason.
So you take me back to my younger days
Sure.
when I had to make stringent rules about my policies for how I want to run Creative Bee. And one of the policies that I would choose my client. And I had big brands of saris because Creative Bee make amazingly beautiful sarees. I'm not boosting my own product, but you will see creativity.in. So much of value addition we do because we have the infrastructure. But so our sarees sell a lot.
Sure.
Recently, we did some 44 sarees as a B2B order for a Kerala shop, which is newly opened by a doctor who's a medical doctor, professional and retired, and had been buying Creative Bee product for her own wardrobe, decided to now open a store. And her first order of these saris came. And the looms for that weave was shut after COVID. I had to restart them because I needed a substantial order to restart these looms. And now it will continue making products. So I used to choose, my buyers used to come from Bombay. I wouldn't like to name the brand, but there are
Yes.
very popular brands coming from Bombay and saying, we want to buy your saris. And what is your lead time? How much credit you would give? This is what we will screen every sari and only then pay you. So these kind of buyers, I used to offer them a cup of tea and then, explain how we work and say bye-bye to them. I would never think that that is my client. And that's why my growth, Creative B as a brand, the growth is restricted. This company
Yeah.
isn't that big. But you have a choice, no? Because you want to do only pure, you want to work with only fair companies like Rang Bandhej Private Limited from Ahmedabad. My friend Archana Shah. I want to mention her name today because she was my first B2B client. She was a designer, believed in what I was doing, and our aesthetics matched. And for years together, we have done business. She had expanded in retail years ago, and I was still at B2B. So, fair companies I would work with. And 10 companies would come my way saying, let's do business. But I would still be very cautious in selecting with whom I'm doing the business. And that's why I had to work on multiple channels. I had to keep retail, I have to keep bulk export, I have to do consulting, I have to do large consulting projects so that the fees comes and that I can again use as a working capital. It's not easy to run an establishment purely on handloom. And it has been a challenge, particularly post-COVID was a big challenge. So I'm saying you are young, and choose your clients, choose the market. And then otherwise what will happen is the ship, if ship is sinking, how many hundred weavers will sink? How many ancillary workers will sink? If you have a wrong buyer, that is what has happened in Banaras, in Bhagalpur. I have met a producer of Munga and silk, Matka silk, manufacturer, few thousand meters order rejected
Yeah.
after placing. And the placing of order was not done properly. और किसी ने order भेजा, इन्होंने देखा नहीं कि क्या confirmation, what is the confirmation, whether it is stamped properly by the company, stamp, authorized signatory, all that you have to check. And if you say, अरे order बहुत बड़ा, 20,000 meters, I got an order, and you start producing it without any assurance, and nobody, believe me, nobody wants to pay you upfront.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ask for advance, everyone will shy away. But no, I mean, if they shy away, if they don't want to invest in the products that you are making for them, how are you going to invest in the product? You are a trader. You are not a trader. You are a fair trade MSME business. You work with a very small working capital from the bank, and your buyers, I mean, your producers are so needy. You need to pay them weekly,
Yeah, yeah.
not even monthly.
Daily, we need to pay, we
Daily,
need to do
you need
daily.
to pay them daily. So that is it. That's the lesson that you will take today from me.
Yes, sure, ma'am. I'll connect with you also, ma'am, offline to have
Sure.
more.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. Hi, Binaji. It's lovely listening to you.
Hi,
My
Tina.
daughter, hi. My daughter is leaving for London today and she's studying there. In spite of that, hassle, I love to join you because I wanted to hear you and I've heard about you. I have been national advisor to MSME ministry and I'd been appointed by Mr. Gadkari when he was MSME minister.
Okay.
He had vision for MSME minister. Since I've also worked for, I had been nominated director for SHM India, where I worked on women, financial inclusion, and public policy. So my work was mostly around the artisans and all of that, which made me start my own brand now since I'm just, turning Buddha, I'm 45. And I thought of starting something on my own. Me and my husband both are with government. So I thought of just, putting burden on him to run the house and then decided to start my own brand. And I'm loving this brand. There's no doubt about it. I was quite a shopaholic till about 4 years back when COVID, 5 years back when COVID started. And I realized that, the jamdani, the linen, the very minimal costing fabrics, which my mother-in-law, which my dadi, the crepe, the fabrics which were very, very easily available to all of the normal, or the middle class families. My dadi used to wear very, very fine crepe.
Yes.
One fabric, chinon, which you don't find now. I procured chinon from a very old friend in Jammu, and I realized that that's the purest chinon I could get, and that's again वो 15 साल पहले चिनॉन का लॉट बना था, उसके बाद वैसा चिनॉन बना ही नहीं. Anyways, so coming back to my understanding with you, Beena ji and Shivani, it's lovely. I mean, it's just, I think whoever is listening to this session, not being biased on anything, can change or contribute to the society, because end of the day, we try and run our survival, but then we also, in a way, I mean, directly, indirectly, intentionally, unintentionally, we contribute to the society end of the day if we work on the right channel.
Yeah.
The culture is very, very important. The weaver is very important. I have about 50 people in my unit. I have about 30 people who are on hand embroideries. We are doing, very fine work like Pero. Pero, you must have heard about. Pero
Yes.
is a great brand. Jasmeet and Anita are friends.
Yeah.
We've been close friends, but then suddenly I realized that, anything which you procure for 10 rupees, you're selling for 1,000 rupees. That's the agenda Indian designers have adopted.
Yes.
We'll just restrict to this geography of India.
Yeah.
Now, what is happening? What is happening is like, I have seen people procuring cashmere. I'm very, very interested in cashmere because cashmere is really, I mean, people get it from Mongolia, people get it from Kathmandu. But though I have friends from this industry, but they don't tell me the source, and I'm clueless about it, Beena ji. The one thing I want to know this. Secondly, I run my own brand called Janki India. We are doing very well. It's been now 6 months we started this brand. We are into complete hand embroidery and pure fabrics. But I want to talk to you on just two things. One is that I want to retain or probably revive your retail thing in Delhi if we agree on the terms and things. And I would love to run it on no profit, no loss. Since it's a as a government body representative, I would love to do this. Secondly, रिटेल स्टोर हमने प्लान कर लिया. सेकेंडली, मुझे खादी भवन और जितने भी स्टेट हैंडलूम भवन है, वहाँ बड़ा रॉ फैब्रिक मिलता है. हम केस भी लेने जाते हैं तो वो इतना फाइन नहीं होता है. तो व्हेन आई बाय केस, तो मेरे डैडी बोलते थे कि चुभता है बेटा, बहुत चुभता है. तो हमको फाइनली जाके किसी बड़े ब्रांड से केस लेना है जो 4 गुना पैसे पे है. So why I have to understand, weaver पे जो GST है, for that I can speak to Jitan Ram Majhi since he's Prime Minister now. And if I can do something about it, because I was working on public policy, not on these things. And I would love to look at something like this. And I also, I'm closely attached to public policy and, financial inclusion for artisans, right? And I've done many projects with UP government for that matter, and then done many conclaves. I've also written books on public policy for artisans and weavers. So that's my idea of interest.
Yeah.
So one thing is that retail store I would love to start. That we can, I can look at it. I would love to start that because we all look for. I'll tell you, Pero is selling a towel which you have at your back. It's for 5,000 rupees. So I know it's not, and the Maku
Yes.
so very expensive. Then injury, then the Jamdani fabric, and we also procure fabric. Like mine is a. We procure like 5,000 meters every 3 months whenever season changes. So Beena ji, that's my contribution to this conversation, which Shivani did.
Yeah, Dr. Tina, it was pleasure to know that someone from policy making domain is listening to this talk, and I'm sure you are coming out with the kind of support that you can create. Kabir is a fabulous project. I have recently met DC Handlooms, the new DC Handlooms.
He's my neighbor. He's
Yeah,
my neighbor. I'm
so you
a
have handed
government
over
officer wife.
the copy of Kabir. So
Yeah.
please, if you can influence.
He's
Fine.
just across my lane because we are in
Uh,
same colony.
So I'll send you, if we connect 1 to 1, I'll send you also a Kabir copy, the catalog
anytime.
of Kabir, and it can be weavers. If you announce Kabir next Handloom Day, the country will rejoice. The weavers
अभी
of.
अभी तो हैंडलूम डे गया.
Yeah, मैं तो 1 हफ्ता पहले मिली थी, 2 हफ्ता पहले मिली थी उनको हैंडलूम डे से पहले. So it was too short a time maybe. So I messaged her saying that please look at this for a gift to handloom and craft sector for next handloom day. Because as you rightly said, handloom house or khadi bhandar are almost like not happening. I would hate to use word dead, but they
मुझे
are
तो
really
सॉरी
not.
वो जो सेल्फ मार्का है ना,
Yeah.
सेल्फ मार्का पे भी डाउट है. आई एम.
And Kabir में profit है, ऐसा नहीं है. Kabir is not non-profit. Kabir I launched in my GK store, and you won't believe people coming out of neighboring big
Can
brands.
we revamp GK store if you don't mind?
GK store was a franchise, so the franchisor has given away the whole. He had 4 franchises, and he tried to sustain the first phase of COVID. Second phase of COVID, he just could not, and he gave away the whole building to Fab India because Fab India was sharing a wall. Anoki was sharing next door, and it was such a prime location. And I requested him to give me just 1/4 of the frontage for launching Kabir. Before I proposed Kabir as a pilot to anybody, I had to test market it myself. So I had roped
No,
in.
but we can anyways, because I am here at Shapujat. I have a whole building here. Shapujat, I mean, I've got around 50 people under me. I mean, 35, 40 blue collar and 10.
We
So
can
I, what,
1 to 1 we can connect. Please take
yeah,
my
we can
and,
connect 1 to 1. Yeah. And also one more thing that, my board, the NB MSMEs, National Board of Ministry of, Small
yeah.
Medium, the board is comprising of about 49 people.
Okay.
And I have been appointed by the Cabinet Prime Minister Office to this board because I was a social worker and I was a public figure in the speaker. So they included me in the board, and suddenly I realized that, in spite of having lieutenant governors, MSME ministers from 5 states, then, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha nominated Reserve Bank chairman, SIDBI chairman, everybody in the board,
Yeah.
and the social justice minister, no one has idea of promoting this. But few people coming from the industry who are, somebody supporting Ambani, somebody supporting Adani. So I am a firm believer of Modi government, there's no doubt. But when it comes to saving our weavers, because my weaver here is only earning 18 to 20,000 rupees on handwork, and जिस दिन उसके घर में कोई बीमार पड़ता है, वो पूरा पैसा वहां चला जाता है. So I'm very, very concerned. इसमें दोनों साइड आता है. दोनों साइड इसलिए आता है क्योंकि कई बार मैंने ऐसा भी फेस किया बीना जी कि ये लोग 5-5 महीना छुट्टी लेकर बैठ जाते हैं तो मेरा काम ठप हो जाता है.
मैंने ये भी बोला, या मैंने ये भी बोला कि मेरी एक मीटिंग करवा दी जाए. मैंने डीसी हैंडलूम और सेक्रेटरी टेक्सटाइल्स नए जो है रचना शाह मैम भी थे. तो मैंने बोला कि मेरी एक मीटिंग मोदी जी से करवा दी जाए फॉर कबीर. और कबीर को मैंने नाम बदल के कबीर कुटीर बना दिया. मैंने बोला कबीर कोई एक सेक्ट को रिप्रेजेंट नहीं करता है, तो let's make it Kabir Kutir, because the shop that I visualize for Kabir across India. My proposal to the corporates who approach me after the article that was written,
since
I
Mr.
said 300 stores and 10,000 artisan was my proposal to them, and there were none other than the famous Ambanis, the Reliance, because they have Swadesh. So the team came and met me a couple of times, but somehow they are the CEO of the brand and they will not have the vision that I'm as a founder of
vision you're carrying.
Share my vision with the founder or somebody who can make the decision. So you can make small hut-like stores of Kabir anywhere.
No, NCUI, the building here, which is for the the cooperatives, NCUI here has a small hut now, जहाँ वो अंदर weavers और इन सब के लिए जगह दे रहे हैं, which is for free.
Yeah.
बट मैंने ये नोटिस किया कि जितने भी दिल्ली हाट वगैरह ये सब चोर बैठे हैं, बिकॉज जितने प्राइस का बाहर मिल रहा है उतने का वहां मिल रहा है, क्योंकि वो किराया जिसको अलॉट हुआ है उसने आगे किराया भी दिया है।
नहीं नहीं, उसमें क्या है कि सारे वीवर्स ट्रेडर हो जा रहे हैं। वाज माय अदर टॉक दैट आई सेड दैट वीवर्स को आप दिल्ली बुलाते हो एग्जीबिशन करने के लिए, तो वो बेचारा अपना काम बंद करके गांव के और 10 लोगों का सामान लेके ही कम्स टू दिल्ली हाट वे एंड स्टेइंग देयर इज सो एक्सपेंसिव, देन ही रियलाइज दैट बुनाई करने से अच्छा है सेल करना, so he becomes a trader.
बीना
You're
जी, कैन
approaching an
वी
artisan and making him into a trader, you know. That
Beena ji, quickly, just to wind up, I'll connect with you on a call. We'll share number. And Shivani, I hope you'll be in the loop because I want you to be there. You have a lot of
always
interest in
there in
handloom
all
as
my
well.
good deeds.
So, Mr. Gadkari is my mentor, and he's a dear, close family friend. Can we take this to Mr. Gadkari first?
Yeah.
Because Jeetan Ram Manji is my new minister, but my secretary is very nice. Secretary MSME is very nice, and I mean, since he comes from IS cadre, and he
Yeah.
understands us well, so we can see him quickly. Any day you're in Delhi, or I can seek an appointment with him,
No,
and we
I
can.
mean not in Delhi, ma'am. I mean
No, I know you're in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
You're in Hyderabad. Yeah, you're in Hyderabad, but I mean, we can plan any day,
Yeah.
or either we can have a, you can probably
Sure.
write to him, and I can bridge the thing, because I'm equally concerned for the viewers. The only thing is, I would love to sit with you sometime, either because I am this is my season time till about December. So if we can connect on a quick call sometime
Sure.
and finish our conversation, and I can put it across to Mr. Gadkari on this, because he was Minister for MSME and he had a very, elaborated vision on MSME. But then it has gone to Narayan Rane because he joined from NCP. Then Jeetan Ram Manji. No minister has interest in MSME. Honestly, I mean, the kind of, and also the textile minister Smriti Irani had no vision on that. I mean, I had,
See, our handloom board has been abolished, so weavers have
yeah,
lost the voice. There
very
is
sad.
no voice. There is no platform for weavers to raise the voice. I had been the member of handloom board for last couple of years, and at least once a year we used to meet, and at least there was someone to listen to. Now there is no voice reaching till Delhi. I go for
No, it's
advisory committees. I am invited to make the schemes or to judge the awards, but apart from that, there is no voice being heard. That is our another biggest complaint.
honestly speaking,
Anyway, I think we will
I'd been
connect.
chasing internet to find somebody like this, and yesterday I got the message. I was on Insta and found this, and I immediately enrolled, and I said, let's listen to this. I've listened to many people. Let's do this one also, and suddenly I
Thank you
realized
so
that
much.
this is eye opener for us. I mean, I'm glad that such people exist in India
Thank you.
and they're working towards it. And honestly, मतलब जितना आप लोगों को जितना फ्रंट पे आप लोग काम कर रहे हैं, ये इतना बड़ा कोकून बन गया है, बिकॉज द बिग डिजाइनर्स क्या कमा रहे हैं, मतलब मुझे समझ ही नहीं आ रहा। और ऑनेस्टली मैंने बीना जी किसी इंटरनेशनल सेलिब्रिटी को, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द नेम, उसको कहते सुना था कि लग्जरी इज नॉट प्राडा बैग, luxury is not Louis Vuitton bag, luxury is what you're doing with hand.
Exactly.
Luxury is that because you're investing time, you're creating culture.
Yeah. So
But today,
how you choose your client? That's what Creative Bee has such a rich basket of international clients. A Japanese brand, which is our client for 17 years, a largest Japanese company like a Fab India in India. That brand is in Japan, 160 stores. We've been working for 17 good years, and they found me from Kamla shop of Delhi, where Creative Bee stalls were on display 17 years ago. So the buying manager saw the stalls, bought them back, took our local.
I'd love to revive your retail dream for no profit, no loss. I am pretty okay with it, and let's work together.
It's
Thank you,
also
Shivani. I took
profitable.
a lot of time. I apologize to everyone
Thank
on the
you.
panel.
Yeah, because people may be waiting for questions, but I would love to
Yeah,
connect.
but our new board has not been constituted. But I'm still the member right now. But I work on closely to state governments on public policy.
Great.
So we can connect, and I'm very interested in artisans.
Yeah, let's do
So
something in our lifetime. At least 5 states,
And-
if you do some changes.
And also the labor ministry, labor laws are not enough for them. I've realized that they go haywire. They have no knowledge on laws. They
Law
can't fight their
law
rights.
needed. Ma'am, law is needed, but the output and the demand. So schemes, subsidies, all ये सब required है. But unless आप अपना niche market नहीं ढूंढोगे, weavers, और अच्छी quality, ऐसी quality बनाओगे कि buyers come to your doorstep. And we have that in India. We have
No.
thousands of years ago, the whole world used to come. East India Company. You read the history. My last lecture, please listen to my last talk of
I am
Vishwa.
immediately doing that today. Don't worry. I mean, I'm I'm like super excited. I can't tell you, super excited, and I execute things which what I
Thank you so much for
think of. But
bringing.
anyways, thank you so much. This is not the platform to carry lengthy conversations, Veena ji. I will be in touch with you. I hope I'll get your number. And thank you so very much. I'll take your leave, Veena ji. I have
Thank you.
somebody to talk to, and lovely meeting you, Shivani. It's pleasure. I mean, I think not just made my day, you made my the journey easy.
Thank you. We were just trying to meet today on this platform. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Binaji. I'll expect your number. My number is there. Thank you. Bye, Shivani.
Bye. Bye.
I'm taking your leave. Thank you.
Next question from
Okay.
Mr. Prasad Surupaneni. Has there been a migration of artisans and support workers from handloom to Powerloom industry out of sheer desperation as a means of livelihood? If this has been happening at a substantial level, it may spell the doom of the handloom industry very quickly. What are your suggestions for protecting the handloom industry?
Mr. Prasad, sorry for the delay and kept you waiting with your question first and foremost. And yeah, it's a bomb of a question which I had been expecting for this session, and I have been avoiding to talk about it in this session deliberately. You have caught me right there. That is the nerve of the problem and it cannot be avoided. And it would take a lot of political, as Dr. Tina, we finding Dr. Tina today is a boon actually, because nobody in the government there where people like us can reach directly and say, look, this is what can be done. We are giving the workable pilots. We are proving it and giving it to them to implement on a larger canvas. So yes, your question is right. Migration is happening. Migration is not so much to Powerloom as a worker, but migration to handloom weaver as a owner of the Powerloom, which is what is damaging more. Because if you remember, I don't know, but about I think 10 years ago, I was in a very high level delegation committee from Ministry of Textiles going to PMO's office. So I was one of the advisory member and development commissioner and textile secretary. Only 5 of us and one more private advisor from Himachal Pradesh, Mr. Thakur, who owns a large cooperative. So we were going there and we were to ask the PMO's fund for the cluster development program, which I had suggested. It was tailor-made for our country, like how Kabir I'm talking about. I spoke about cluster development program, and BK Sinha, Mr. BK Sinha was the development commissioner, I remember, who believed in it and took it to the textile secretary. That's how the cluster programs initiated, but it was designed only for 500 weavers, because bigger than 500 weavers model would fail. That also I have put on my document and I said that. But anyhow, it went out of control. And in recent years, I have heard clusters are given for even 10,000 weavers, and it doesn't work that way. So in that PMO meeting, the textile secretary had been newly appointed, and we had asked PMO to be kind enough and give cluster fund for 300 clusters. So the PMO had his own apprehension and said, what is the guarantee that this will work? I will give only 100 clusters across the country. Then immediately there was a protocol, and everyone had to speak one after another, only that much. And we all had been given that protocol at the development commissioner's office that you would speak about this and you would speak about that. So I had finished mine. But when PMO said 100 clusters only, so textile secretary said, okay, then other fund you give for Powerloom. And that is my heart sank. And I said, what are we doing now? So I broke the protocol. I took the permission of PMO and all those seniors, and I said, may I? And they said, very reluctantly said, okay. So then I spoke about this. I said, let's give power to the villages first. Are we giving uninterrupted power? Okay, today's situation is different. This I'm talking about when we launch cluster program. Today we do have uninterrupted power in every village. Mostly there are not big power cuts. But what I'm trying to say, so I convinced the PMO to hold 200 clusters fund and not to give for Powerloom, because I could convince him saying that Powerloom can be suicidal. Because a handloom owner thinking that government is giving subsidized Powerloom and brings home one elephant, white elephant, then what will he produce on Powerloom? What he can produce which textile mill cannot produce? You tell me. If Powerloom is producing a gray fabric, mill can produce. So Powerloom, but what his handloom can produce, Powerloom cannot produce 80% of it. 20%, of course, they can copy. So that was that time when I said Powerloom is suicidal for any small weaving community to jump into. And even today, I would say the same thing, because you get my Ikkat weavers. So many of good Ikkat weavers that I knew in Nalgonda have wound up the handloom and brought these giants machines. And he's saying, Oko operator chalu. In Telugu, they say one operator will run these 4 looms. But I said, are your hands full of orders? What are you making? How much you are earning? And are you happy running this paying the loans that you obviously had to take loans to buy the looms? How much loan is on your head still? So he had no answers for this. And there are many Powerloom units which are heavily in debts because they take loan and get this white elephant. Powerloom orders are scarce. Everybody can make what you are making. But you are a handloom weaver. Not many people can make what you're making. Like, for example, Creative Bee. I have never had a fear of somebody copying my design, because what I make, my quality, and what I design every day, I can churn a new design. So why am I worried about? So the handloom weaver will have an edge over market, edge over everything. Only thing is that he has to wake up and believe in his abilities, and he has to find the right market. And policymakers like Dr. Tina, sorry, I'm getting her name right, can help to reform the policies for marketing. Today, there is a dire need, not the hearts, not the bazaars, not the exhibitions, not even the e-commerce platform. People who have visualized the e-commerce platform for weavers was absolutely baseless, I must say, because a weaver, as I know, I work at that grassroots level where even making a small bill of his product is difficult. They are not literate enough. So you are wanting to train them to do photography, you want them to be trained to upload their products. That's a far cry. So only person you are helping is a master weaver. Master weaver have an educated team and office. So again, you are avoiding working directly with the small weaver. And I'm not against master weaver or an organization or an NGO. They are also a big support system for handloom industry. But why can't we share? Why can't they share their profits? Why can't they nourish the last value chain that without them, they cannot survive? Why don't they nourish them well? That's my question. So migration is very worrisome, and migration को रोकने के लिए कुछ हम नहीं कर सकते, आप भी नहीं कर सकते. You cannot do anything in individual capacity unless the total reform from policy level comes and the regime, the GST regime change. GST regime need to be little soft on handcrafted products and handloom products. There is a different approach to that government can take. Government can collect tax from us, the manufacturer, hand manufacturing companies, but in a different way. There could be innovative ideas, for how to collect tax from hand producers. But you cannot slab at every level, like, 12% on yarn, 5% on fabric, and the dupattas, which are woven, like behind what you see. The hand woven, hand process, real example of labor of love is taxed at 12%. Why? It's not embroidered, it's not, because it is called stole, it is taxed at 12%. It is hand woven, absolutely. There should be not more than 5% tax on it. So
There shouldn't be any tax on it.
there shouldn't be any tax. There should be an innovative way. I'm saying, okay,
Yes.
So I also watch the government. For so many years I've been watching, right? So I say government need money, taxes they need for our well-being, but there are ways to do it so that nobody is at loss. Okay.
Okay, let's quickly. I'll try to. There's another question from Mr. Evera. I would like to know more about the banana fabric and how to procure it.
Yeah. So banana fiber, fabric तो दूर की बात है, पहले तो फाइबर की बात करनी पड़ती है. First we have to talk about banana fiber. It's a great idea to utilize our natural resources. Mrs. Shivani was mentioning our project of water hyacinth, which we last year completed after our track record was found from Thailand, and the collector was so optimistic. He invited us to his jurisdiction, which is Tuticorin, Tamil Nadu. We adopted 2 villages and we have transformed 60 women's lives. Completely non-skilled women are made to make beautiful baskets from water hyacinth, and IKEA spotted one of the products through an exporter. The exporter want 1 million pieces in that. So now more states are waking up, and more government is also considering this as a very good initiative for semi-skilled artisan. So let's hope something good happens. Banana fiber ke liye, making fiber is easy, but you have to blend it with something. As a textile technical expert, I would say that banana by itself, you can't create warp and weft. And you may create warp and weft, but it won't be washable, it won't be durable. There'll be n number of technical difficulty in making it, but there is no harm in mixing it with cotton, mixing it with tussar like pina fiber, which is pineapple leaf. The Thailand and Southeast Asian countries have been using for centuries, making fabrics out of it. But there is a process to soften it, which we don't have in India. The know-how that they have, we don't have. Only few people like us, we have the know-how. So, because we have worked with those countries. So, if you can make banana and pineapple fabric soft and mix with cotton or silk or noil or, any of these hand-spun fibers, products can be made, but I won't have any address or contact to give you as of now that from India, where can you buy banana fabric? I'm sorry about that.
Mahajan, would you like to ask your question quickly? Yeah, Shubha. Yeah.
Okay.
We're beyond the time, right?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shubha Mahajan from Aurangabad, and I'm a textile designer. The similar way, I'm also working for the preservation of the original craft of Paithani. And I have trained multiple women into that. And right now, I'm in the same department where I'm talking to you right now. Only the thing is the same thing. I'm also facing that the duplication of the mechanized Paithanies, and they are selling on the name of Paithanies. It is not about they are just flooded with the duplicate Paithanies right now. 80% shops are flooded with the duplications.
You have to
But
be quick over time now. You have to be very quick. What is your question?
Yeah. So my question is the same thing. It was there is no regulatories on this such kind of products to sell on the same name or such a way. So can we do something about it? And Binaji, I want to interview you for my PhD thesis as well. So I will just catch your number through LinkedIn and all. So please let me allow for that also.
Now,
So
I will answer this question that I'm happy that you are a designer. So there is one milestone achieved, because designer in India, in the context of handloom, can make a lot of difference and contribute. First and foremost, you bring the set of weavers in Aurangabad to do other products than Paithani saris. And product diversification should be your mantra for now. And always talking about Powerloom invasion in handloom, like how we have been, the whole topic of today was that, which is beyond anybody's control. So what designer can do is give assurance, like Kota. I am now giving assurance to Kota weavers that, okay, let's make yardage also, not just sari, not just dupatta. Also, I have designed with my team here, we have designed some 50 odd products of mid-range saris, because all stores don't need to buy those bridal saris, right? So creating, and there are stores which are owned by Tatas and owned by the chain stores. they can be the client and they can place the bigger orders for artisan if the price can be worked out. So as a designer, you have to work backward. First decide the price, then decide the wages that weavers are comfortable, then decide the amount of zari that you want to put in. You can play with the amount of zari that you want to use and control your price. So these are the
Price code.
yeah. So these are the few things that you need to do. And Paithani has been too much mutated over so many years. So go back to original Paithani. Try to keep some looms running only for original Paithani. Find buyers who will pay those weavers and you high for the original Paithani, like we do. We have very few original uppadas, which are so exquisite that people would just come, take it and go. Because in today's world, to get original traditional handloom itself is a challenge. So these are the
Yeah.
two parameters. One side you go traditional, other side you contemporize as a designer, make products which can bring bigger order to the artisan. So artisan group can make few traditional saris a year and make few thousand meters or few thousand products which are more mainstream. क्योंकि बनारस में जरी वाली साड़ी बनती है, औरंगा में पैठनी भी जरी के साथ बनती है. That concept you have to break. And as somebody said के fabric तो Powerloom में ही बनता है. No, not necessarily. The comfort of Powerloom fabric is far from hand woven yardage. And there are brands all over the world. Within India, there are designer brands who want those fabrics. So sky is the limit. Thank you.
Okay, next question
Thank you
from
so much.
Mr. Atul Agarwal. Has anyone found a way to use jute fibers for a high value product other than brooms? I went to a textile fair and was surprised to hear about the amount of jute lying in India.
Not really. I haven't heard jute. I am not, as a technically practicing textile person, I have not used jute in any of my products. Jute is a flimsy fiber, but if it is plied, it becomes very strong. So it is mostly used for ropes and bags and stuff like that. But again, if you can, capitalize on dyeing jute with natural dye, which nobody has done. I haven't heard of anyone doing it. But if you do, then rugs can be your great market. The export for rugs, the jute is jacquard carpets can be woven with jute and quiet, or combination with cotton. We have Warangal near Hyderabad, where the carpet industry collapsed years ago. So any carpet industry, handloom sector carpet production can be revived by introducing jute, which is dyed in natural dye, and that will make the fiber soft,
Protected as
and you can mix it with cotton. Anything?
yeah, Anisur Rahman, you need to unmute and come on video. And ask your question.
This is the last question? Or
Yeah, last question. No more. This is it. No more.
Also, I request the viewers to send me their email and numbers through Vishwa team. And I request Vishwa team to send me the emails and numbers of people whom we could not talk to, or, who the time wasn't enough for my answer.
Where to source silk yarn to make Gaji silk?
Silk yarn you can source from Bangalore, but Gaji is a weave. It's a satin weave. It's a warp-faced satin weave, technical terms, where the warp is more visible. And so Gaji silk is not, any good mulberry silk you can buy from Hindupur or from Bangalore, from any sericulture depot. What weight and what thickness of Gaji you want to weave, it depends on that. But Gaji, your loom should be compatible to do Gaji, no? Because you may need 4-threaded loom to do Gaji.
Is it a particular silk worm, the Gaji one?
Yeah, Gaji is a satin weave.
It's a weave. It's not a worm.
Yeah, it's not a worm. It's a weave. It's one
It's
of
a
the
weave.
and it's a traditional name called Gaji. I haven't explored much why it was called Gaji, but it's a satin weave. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any market for natural dyed ikat weaved in handloom by Mr. Murali Krishna?
Yes, yes, there is a great market, and I'm struggling to do this exercise of doing. I'm wearing one jacket. What you can everyone see? That's a
You have
natural
to put your this thing.
skin down. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's the natural dye ikat
Mm.
that I'm wearing. But the whole exercise for this is a bit cumbersome because the dyeing of yarn has to be done in the villages. Then they have to come to my farm to do the dyeing. And then second color dyeing has to be done. Then again they have to come to farm because I don't have aids to set up natural dye stations at every village. If government had supported or if NGO supports, I can create that at as many villages that I want. Now I'm invited to speak at World Ikat Symposium, which is happening in first week in Philippines at Baguio City, and I'm speaking about use of natural dye in Telangana Ikat, and it is so minimal. I also have a fashion show that I have to present as an Indian designer. This webinar, I mean, this conference, ICAT World Symposium happens every 2 years in different countries would host them. So there is a demand. The good news that I would like to share that one of the ICAT weavers from Telangana got the national award who has
Wow.
made 1,000 different designs of motifs on a sari and in natural dye. And I'm yet to communicate with him to invite him to come to farm. I asked my husband if he would like to take him under his wings to train more because I learned from this weaver that he does from his father. He has learned and he's just doing at a small level at his home. And that sari was so beautiful that we couldn't resist but choose that as the best. And we didn't know that it's from Telangana. No, we would not know. No names or anything would be. Though we would figure out that it's not from Orissa, it's from here. But so there is demand. Please go ahead and do natural dye ikat as much you want. Also, my Japanese buyers want single yarn ikat. And there is again a myth that single yarn is not cannot last with rubber tying and dyeing. So they always want only 2 ply. So it is 2x20s, 2x60s, 2x60s yarn, and single yarn only in weft they can use. But me and my husband, we think that if you starch your yarn, which coastal districts in Andhra Pradesh, they do. We don't have. In Telangana, we are a dry state. In the dry, not in terms of alcohol, but dry in terms of weather. We are a dry state. So we don't need to starch our wops. But if we can starch our wop and weave ikat, it will not break. And it will, I need somebody to, big way, to start producing ikat with single yarn so that I can show samples to my Japanese weavers. Because I have too many things on my plate. I cannot start doing it on a large scale because my farm does not have the looms. Farm has only dyeing facility and printing and shibori and batik. All those 5, 6 skills we have at the farm. But weaving, I have few looms, but weaving on a large scale, if I have to do, I need the villages to be equipped with natural dyeing facility.
Quickly, from Kunal Maurya, for example, for Varnasi in the last 10 years, the migration from handloom is at the rate of 11%. In 2009, we had 95,000 weavers. In 2019, we have 25,000 weavers left.
That is what I'm saying. I'm shocked my Banaras visit because I have worked from Banaras earlier, and I'm really afraid that what we are calling as weavers are our cultural identity. First subject of my first Vishwa talk, I think have to be rephrased if we are late in doing something for handloom industry. It would be, we can only say that weavers were our cultural identity in the past, no more. We have to act immediately, but I don't know. I don't have a good enough lobby. I'm not a politically inclined person. I believe in work. I'm a creative person. I'm not even a businesswoman. So my reach is limited, and I don't waste my time sitting at office of any government officer. If he does not call me thrice, I would try, and fourth time I would not go. I would create my own resource. I would do crowdfunding, small way, and I meet the cause, but I would not have the energy to pursue it. So somebody, young people from this group, have to make a lobby and make it happen, because there are both ways. Government and NGOs and advocates of handloom have to come together to make quick change. And otherwise, we will be just writing books about our glorious textile history, which is also going to happen soon.
Yes, yes. Uma Shekhar, the vintage handloom Kanchi cotton, 1000 Butta or Lakshadweepam Butta saris are almost near extinction. Can you tell us how many weaves are going into extinction in the south of India, in Andhra, Telangana particularly?
Asking me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. As in my index, there are 10 weaves now immediately. Out of that, one is Kotpad, of course. Kotpad is not in south. So across India, some are already gone. Not only weaves, but also print techniques. Like there's a Jawad place called in Madhya Pradesh. Nanana was the textile, beautiful textiles printed in one particular technique, and that's lost. Nobody documented it. There is not much of evidence. Then Telia Rumal from Telangana is lost. What is stopping us from running, say, 20 looms of Telia Rumal? There is a demand. Telia Rumal saris, Telia Rumal scarves. But Pochampalli Park, which was created as a common facility, a large park with 300 looms, got defunct and incurred such huge debts. So that government is giving some facility to private entities and then the misuse of that. So there are 10, of course, on my list where like I would convince the organization to come and do the documentaries on that. Like how I have convinced Marangoni to do a film on Kotpad.
Last question, Beena. We won't ask you anymore.
No, I mean, I'm open to it. I'm enjoying the interest of the audience. But then
Thank you so much.
I have kept some appointments too.
No more questions. This is the last one.
Okay.
And I'll make it a very quick one, a very quick one. Yeah. So, been really, really insightful. And I am your super duper super junior from NID. And I am working as a consultant. Right now, a project has come up in which ICAT is it's by chance I saw this and I attended your session. So it's regarding ICAT. I'd like to connect with you because the client is getting very Powerloom oriented because we want to do home furnishings, curtains, it's like large yardage products, bed sheets, bed covers. And obviously doing it in handloom will be very expensive. I want to do designs in such a way that it can be a bridge in between because my heart definitely is in handloom. So I do plan to visit Hyderabad also. And now obviously meeting you would be, so I really need, and I want, obviously the livelihood generation as the main aim to do a handloom thing, right? So I'd like to connect with you. My name is Rainy. And I'm 1994-98 batch. So it'll be really helpful if you could guide me that I don't go the Powerloom way.
But the home furnishings like the big king size and queen size bed covers, they are not enough produced on handloom, nor even produced on Powerloom. That's why
I plan to do like patchworks or something.
Yeah. So connect with me. Get my number from creativebee.in. Website also has all the details. And meet in Hyderabad. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you so much and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you so much. Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Beena. Thank you to the audience.
So much.
Thank you, viewers. And
thank you, Sridhani, for taking the question.
Alna, I'm sorry, Gopinath. I had no time to read your messages, but can Vishwa team send me these messages?
Yeah, sure.
So that I can leisurely read and connect to them on my own.
Done.
Some of them are my friends, some of them are my colleague. And I'm so sorry for not being able to read your messages, but I will get back to it. And I'm sure Vishwa team will help me send messages.
Yes.
Is there a way to copy these messages?
We will send you. No issues.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks to the audience for patiently waiting for all the questions to be answered.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Beena.
And thank you for keeping awake so late. You are in US and We'll
I
do some
know it's 1 o'clock,
session.
past 1.
Good night.
Okay, good.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
The meeting.
Ma'am, please join in breakout room.
బ్రేక్అవుట్ రూమ్ లింక్ లేదు.
Ma'am, good afternoon.